jumping into the main event here. Last week, we talked about we were going to, those damn reverb quizzes got us.
Yeah.
We're leaving them alone this week. I'm going to do a little bit of guitar history this week.
We did fail last week, so
Yes.
we took an L and limped on home.
We're going to talk a little bit about PRS guitars. The road from my workshop in a historic haunted Annapolis garret to the state-of-art factory was a tough one. Fact is, I always loved working with my hands, Paul says. Why else would a high school kid sign up for 3 or 4 shop classes at a time? My first guitar was built as a challenge to my college music professor for some credits. I got an A and decided to pursue my dream of making guitars for a living. The historic timeline of this whole thing, from the foundation of our business to early patents and current innovations. Here we go. 1976. Paul Reed Smith builds his first guitar. Think about where Fender and Gibson were at this time. Lawsuits, big headstocks, heavy-ass guitars.
Ugly headstock.
Yeah.
I'm not a 70s Fender.
I'm not a
headstock
70.
guy.
I think it looks good on the Kingfish guitar, and that's about is where it stops.
It didn't look too bad on your 70s one that you had for a day, basically.
Yeah.
It's like here, and then here today, gone to Maui.
Exactly. 81. Compensated nut awarded to address the age-old problem of fretted instruments not playing in tune at the nut end. The neck, Paul Reed Smith invented a compensated nut to improve intonation throughout the fretboard. 84. Tremolo Patent awarded. After Carlos Santana requested a guitar with a vibrato that stayed in tune, Paul Reed Smith began his quest of creating the currently patented PRS tremolo system with the help of John Mann. 84. First orders. In 84, Paul sent out on a tour of East Coast guitar dealers armed with 2 prototypes. Sam Ash placed the first order with Paul for 30 guitars on this trip, bringing the value to the company that would later help secure official investors. Sam Ash being one of the first people to invest in Paul Reed Smith.
Have you ever looked through Sam Ash before?
Once or twice.
I don't know if I've ever looked through Sam Ash.
It's been a while. It's definitely been a while.
That could be dangerous. Looking through that place.
Dangerous.
It's like looking for Chicago Mutual Exchange.
Oh, Jesus. 85 opened for business. After attending the first Winter NAMM show in January of 85 with a small selection of guitars, Smith returned to Annapolis, Maryland, and moved into the PRS Virginia Avenue factory. For 4 months, a small team of fewer than 15 employees began building 20 unserialized guitars. In 1986, what's that?
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, could you imagine how much those 20 guitars cost right now?
Jesus. Unserialized number, early model PRS. Wow. 86th, the 1000th guitar was made.
Year I was born.
Me too. So we're talking from 76 to 86. 1,000 guitars. Think about that. It's nuts. It's a fraction of what Gibson and Fender could do. But for one man with like this small team building these kind of guitars,
And
that's unheard of at this time.
well, also, it's just think about. You see a lot of Fenders from the 70s era, 80s era for sale. You see a lot of Gibsons, see a lot of Deans, you see a lot of pretty much Gretsch, you name it. How many old PRSs have you ever seen?
I seen one on a Ted Nugent thing once because he said it was a prototype, and that was it. I don't see very many older PRSs. If I do, it's like a 90s PRS.
But it's like for sale.
No.
Don't see them.
Guys, moving along. 92. The double action truss rod on a PRS neck was changed from a single to double action. With the availability to correct both bowed and flex necks, the double action truss rod not only allowed for increased adjustability, but it created an even more stable neck. 92. The infamous Dragon 1 with a list price of $8,000 was debuted. It was quote an ultra high-end collector guitar. 93 and 94. introduced the Custom 22 and the McCarty models. Paul believed that the shorter neck provided a fatter, more vintage tone, and with the McCarty model, he was paying a tribute to his teacher, Ted McCarty, a master of the vintage market. 96, they moved to Kent Island. Also in 96, PRS private stock introduced. Whoa, here we go. 96 guitar. PRS guitar added to the Smithsonian Collection in Washington, D.C. A PRS Dragon 1 was proudly included in the exhibit. This marks the first of many PRS guitars to be displayed in museums across the nation, including a small collection of PRS instruments in the Metropolitan Museums of Art Permanent Collection in New York. 96, PRS hits 100 employees. It took him 20 years to hit 100 employees.
That's crazy.
I know what it's like to just get 2 or 3, but 100? You have people watching people who watch people.
But it also speaks volumes of, I wonder how long are those
Some of those people have
are
been there.
still there.
Yeah.
Because from all accords, from everything we've ever read about Paul, is that he was an amazing dude.
He treats people like people.
Yeah.
He's not laying people off like Fender.
And especially how he treats his signature artists.
Yeah, and how he just treats people who represent his brand.
Yeah.
It's crazy. PRS McCarty on HRC Baltimore, Maryland. A 65-foot-tall PRS McCarty model was placed atop the Hard Rock Cafe in Baltimore, Maryland's Inner Harbor. 2000, the Pizio patent was granted. PRS Guitars introduced the first Pizio-equipped guitar in 1988 after customizing the system with LR bags. 2000, PRS awarded a MIPA for single-cut model. Received its first Music Messy at International Press Awards. Wow. 2001, the SE series is introduced. We're looking at 20 some odd years later. And look at how SE is just shattering doors.
Everything.
I mean, I had one of the early Santanas I got from a pawn shop, and the frets were just trashed. So it's like, you can't really say anything bad about it when somebody trashes the frets on it.
You know what SE stands for?
Not sure.
Slay's Epiphone.
2005, PRS wins lawsuit. Single cut returns to the line. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals refers to lower court decision ordering the dismissal of Gibson's suit against PRS. After appeal, the United States Supreme Court decision ended Gibson's multi-year effort to thwart legitimate competition under the guise of intellectual property law. PRS immediately resumed production of the PRS single cut.
It's much small. To me, it feels smaller. The PRS.
It is. Their
single
bodies
cut.
are a little smaller. I'll give them that. First PRS experience held at PRS headquarters in 2007. 2008, the Stevensville, Maryland expansion opens. 2009, acoustics and amplifiers and a tech center. Woof. The PRS amps do get a pretty big, they're good.
I've got to try that Trey Monty.
People are,
Especially that Trey Monty.
yeah.
I've heard a lot of good.
People love them. Paul Reed Smith awarded Vintage Guitar Innovator Hall of Fame Award in 2010. 2012, PRS SE Acoustics introduction. 2013, the S2 series. That's where they make American-made bodies with overseas pickups. That's what I had my first time around.
And in the thumb test on that one, I never played it, but
Great guitar. It had its quirks. I just think that it just needed more refinement. And I also think I got a lemon in the finish too.
oof.
So the neck was really chipping away, and it was not good. 2017, PRS introduces the McCarty 594. 2017, PRS brings back the CE24, the bolt-on guitars. 2018, PRS Silver Sky makes waves with single coils. John Mayer guitars. 2018, Tci Pickups began, meaning tuned capacitance and inductance. Was a technology revelation discovered by the research and design phase of the Silver Skies 635JM pickups. More than a pickup, the TCI is a process that allows pickups to be fine-tuned and sound exactly as desired. As part of the 35th anniversary celebration, PRS house wound pickups have all been tweaked with TCI. 2018, PRS introduces the Archive series. 2019, Strings. 2020, the McCarty family goes to the S2. In 2021, PRS hit 400 employees.
She goes steal some of those from the freaking Fender factory that they laid off.
Larry Fishman gets in on the act of the PRS SE Acoustics. That's in 2022. Guys, that right there was a quick rundown of the PRS history timeline. What a hell of a history.
Speaking of hell of a history, I got a little hell of a history right here. There's two of them. 1987. Multifoil.
Standard 24.
Multifoil. Metallic.
For 22 grand.
Just wait. Gretsch.
A Gretsch Orange Dragon 2 for 22.
And that's a 93.
Guys, I think that's the last bit of this discussion here we're going to do is, are PRS guitars worth the money?
We used to talk crap about them. I used to because the
I
price.
used to too. I did too.
And I understand the private stock, you know, it's there's probably reasons why they're that much, but we can only speak on the lower priced, 1800 and down, and they're worth every damn penny. So I would imagine
that the more expensive ones are as well.
And the resale on them though it's not going anywhere.
No.
I mean, as far as if you wanted to resell, if you got a private stock guitar for 10 grand,
you're probably going to be able to sell a private stock guitar for 10 grand.
And maybe even more.
Maybe,
especially if you have a one-off color.
If you have a 1 of 20, you have a 1 of 10. If you just have a, whatever, you have a really amazing private stock with a 10 top on it, those are even more, because the tops are more exquisite. So, I think they are worth it to an extent.
To an extent, I can't see me buying a new guitar unless I went through and I did everything and I got everything custom ordered for me. Then I could see, you know what I mean? But
especially for that much money.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to buy one, I'll just buy the SE or something like that. Now, there's a couple of them that I love that I would love to have in the hollow body range that are the core line, but I mean, wants to pay $7 grand for a guitar.
That Orianthi color is kick ass.
She just had a new string theory come out with Ernie Ball. So check out the Orianthi string theory for Ernie Ball. But guys, that's it. A little bit of PRS rundown. Jim found some vintage stuff on PRS on the Reverb for 20 grand.
We don't ask for much, people.
Don't ask for much, people.
I mean, we asked for 250 grand for EVH guitar for 50 episodes. We didn't get anything.
But guys, that's it. A little bit of a light and breezy episode. Excuse us for rushing. But I've got to get back and clock in for dad mode. Because as always, if you learned anything on this show,
it was definitely by accident.
Big, small, one and all, we've got it here for you. We are the champions. We are backing this science, the Guitar Pirates Podcast Science, every week here on our YouTube channel and our podcast feed. I've been your host, Josh Jones.
I've been your co-host, Jim Steger.
Guys, stay safe, stay hydrated. Fall's coming. Enjoy football.